Stephanie here from my prints collection, the place where you will find lettering and illustration tutorials. In this tutorial, we are going to create a 3D block shadow effect using Procreate default brushes. If you like this kind of tutorials, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like and share this video. So without further ado, let's jump into this tutorial. The materials that I'm using are the iPad Pro 12.9 inches, the Apple Pencil, and the software is called Procreate, which is available in the App Store. I'm going to open the Procreate app. I'm using a screen size Canva. You can use any size that you want. And the colors that I'll be using are these three. I will go through the values as we progress in this tutorial. So first of all, I'm going to set up my background for this lettering, and I'm going to make sure that I have a new layer. I'm going to select this color, click hold, and the values for this color are 5, 6, 9, B, C, 4. Now I'm going to tap, hold, and drag to fill my background. On top of this layer, I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm going to select this color over here, and the values are 7, C, C, 7, F, 5. So you can write anything that you want, your quote, your word, but to speed up the video, I'm going to use the add text feature from the app. To do so, I'm going to go to my actions, add, and add text. I'm going to write the word, the quote, so I'm going to add caps lock, and I'm going to write the quote, keep going. And I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to tap 3 times really quickly to select my entire quote, and I'm going to reduce the size of this a little bit to 15 minus. Okay, so now that I'm happy with this, I'm going to select and I'm going to drag this a little bit like this. Okay, and I'm going to place it over here. What I'm going to do, I want to edit this, so I'm going to duplicate this layer, which is the one with our quote, and I'm going to click rasterize so that I can make further adjustments. Now I'm going to click on select, and then I'm going to click this option over here, distort, and on this blue dot over here, I'm going to swipe it to the right and to the top, so like this and like this over here, so it looks great. And now this green dot over here, I'm going to rotate this a little bit, okay, just to place it over here. I'm happy with this. And to create that block effect, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer, and this layer underneath, I'm going to swipe 2 fingers to the right, and I'm going to select this color over here to change the color of the layer. So just let me turn this one off, and I'm going to click on fill layer with 2 fingers, swipe again to the right to unlock this layer. And now let me turn this one on. With this layer selected, I'm going to go to my adjustments, motion blur, select layer, and then I'm going to add this a little bit. So let's go like this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer 5 times. And I'm going to merge, pinch and merge, do it again a couple of times, so, and then keep merging. So what you want to have is, you want to have consistency in your block. So as you can see, you have consistency, but now I'm going to adjust these bits over here. So to do that, I'm going to swipe to the right with 2 fingers and click fill layer. So now I have a nice color over here. I'm going to unlock this, turn this one on again, click on this layer, and now I'm going to place it over here. So, okay, it is perfectly adjusted almost. You can tap, okay, but I want this effect to be a little bit bigger, so I'm gonna duplicate this layer over here, and I'm gonna push this a little bit down, do this again. You can do this as many times as you want. it really depends on the effect that you want. And I'm gonna do another one. Okay, so I think this is pretty good. So I'm gonna merge these two layers. I'm gonna select these two layers over here, and I'm gonna push this a little bit to the top over here. So I'm happy with the placement. Now I want to add a little bit more to it. I want to add some shadows. So on this layer over here, I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to click on clipping mask, and I'm going to change its mode to overlay. So to overlay. And what this does is, if you select the color pure black, it's gonna create the darker color of this version. If you want to create highlights, use pure white. With pure black selected, I'm gonna use a default brush. So I'm gonna select the technical brush from the inking set. And now what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna create a straight line over here. I'm gonna decrease the size of the brush a little bit. I'm gonna create a line over here and another one, and then stop to activate quick shapes, so you have a straight line. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to close the gap over here, because you cannot see it, but because it has a clipping mask, but you need to close the gap so you can drag and fill with the color. Now I'm going to repeat the process and speed up the video for my entire quote. Okay, now that I'm happy with this, I want to blur this a little bit so we don't have these straight lines. So with this layer selected over here, I'm going to go to my adjustments, Gaussian blur layer, and I'm going to swipe this a little bit. Okay, with 5.5%. I'm happy with this, but if we want to decrease the effect, you just have to lower the opacity of the layer. So let's go with 70%. So I like how this turns out. Now I want to add a shadow over here. So to do that, I'm going to go to this layer over here, the very top one, duplicate it, and then I'm going to move it to before this layer over here. And now 2 fingers swipe to the right. Okay, and now I'm going to change its color to pure black, so fill layer, and then unlock it. So swipe with 2 fingers again. And now I'm just gonna select it and move it. So I'm gonna place it over here, and I'm gonna actually move all the layers up a little bit, so like this, so that I can see what I'm doing. So like this. So I like the effect of this. I'm gonna go back to this black lettering over here, select it, and add some blur. So Gaussian blur, adjustments, Gaussian blur layer. Blur this a little bit. Let's go with 6.5%. And now I'm going to decrease the opacity a little bit of this layer to create a nice shadow. Let's go with around 40%. And we are done. We have created a 3D block shadow effect using Procreate default brushes. If you think that this tutorial was useful, please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can be notified when a new tutorial is published. If you decide to try this tutorial and share it on social media, make sure to tag me so that I can send you some love. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next video, happy drills and illustrations!